I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I'm enjoying looking at everybody's hairstyles. Ange, I see yours is growing longer. Tavern, I mean, you've got the bob happening. Chris, I think you've been to the hairdressers, but yours is still looking a little slick back. Chris, I don't know what you're doing. Are you married to a hairdresser?
Yes, in a previous life.
Yeah, I was talking to Chris Hartley there. Are you married to a hairdresser, Chris Hartley?
No, I am not.
Because yours is the only one that really looks still professional.
Looks pretty good, huh? Yep. Just for this group.
Jeff, I'm going to kick you out. You keep on winning prizes. Someone get Jeff out of here.
Well, at least I cut my hair for you.
Anyway, it's great to have you guys here, and I really thank tonight. I really thank Angela for hosting us. This is one of our favorite ones. That for those of you that have been with us for the last 2 or 3 years, Angela's hosted them outside, and of course it is the perfect day to be on the front lawn at Petrusha Law with Christine Casaro's catering, for Mr. Smoller's guitar playing, with our local wines, which I will share with you that I am partaking tonight. I had Trinity River drop me off. I've just fallen in love with this wine. There's my 30 seconds, but it's real good. So I'm having a little nice sippy cup. And I want to thank you, Chris. I know Hartley, I'm Dr. Chris Hartley, our respected board member, my boss. I'd like to thank you so much. This really busy and crazy time for you, and for you to take time out to be able to just share some information, not just here during the mixer, but people are aware now that they can go online and see this. So, you know, just we'll watch our P's and Q's tonight, Chris. I hope you're not under too much stress. So, first of all, I just wanted to check in with you guys and just see how you're going. Last month, I talked to a lot of you. I'm feeling the pressure. I know you guys are too, but I just want to just, see a thumbs up. Are we all doing okay out there? Okay. Colby, that was only a half one. What, you've got a bad boss? I don't know. See, Sierra and all of my team, they were 2 thumbs up, that was, look at that. You not so much, Chris. But I just wanted to thank you, first of all, for being in business during this time, for creating job opportunities, for spending your tax dollars here. That's so important. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the chamber, for being part of our business community. I just know that nothing has changed at the chamber. We're still doing basically advocating for you and promoting. I'm still doing the meetings with the CERT group, which are a whole group of people, not just from our county, but also Trinity and Mendocino. And we're collaborating on different ventures to be able to build resilience for our area, to be able to hear our collective voice to a lot of people in our community, and we're all coming together to make strategies. Today, I did a tour of the CERT group, the JIC, which is in one of your buildings, Chris, just behind your office there. They've taken over the convention centre run by HOE, and it was amazing. I had no idea. It's like operational command. And these are the people that are taking the phone calls from our businesses, that are getting you registered, that are getting you back to business. Something that I found pretty exciting today was, because there are grant funds for those of you that are in business, go to our website, go to our Facebook page, go to the Humboldt County's website. There's grant funds up to $12,500. Those, you have to be registered to reopen or remain open. So make sure you're doing that and apply for those funds. Actually, talking about good news, you might remember when this all started, I had a flurry on social media and direct emails about the US Chamber having some grant funds. I have to tell you, everybody got frustrated because they couldn't get on. we had 2 local businesses that got $5,000 grants, and I hope they don't mind. I haven't seen them here. But Communication received a grant of $5,000 from the from US Chamber, and Sports World. So Dave down there. So really, that was really cool. And I think there's more coming through. So if you were able to get onto their site and register, you could be still in with the winning. We've got 2 major announcements, or 3 major announcements, but 2 major announcements. I want to talk to you about our membership magazine this year. We closed off, you know that we had our, we extended our 2020 membership longer than what April, which we normally cut it out so that we could support our businesses. This year, we had more people remain as chamber members than ever before. So that's encouraging for that gives me a thermometer that we're doing the right thing as a community and so this year, in honor of our businesses, this magazine, which has been on the improve over the last couple of years, is about to take a lot of steroids. I've been working with John down at Times Standard. We're going to do a hardbound magazine similar to what the Insider, which is, I'm giving you an example, or I would call Vogue. We're hoping that we're going to get somewhere close between 80 and 90 pages. This one here is about 30. So imagine this 3 times the size, just promoting your businesses. So of course, you all know I'm a bit of a honey badger. So I sat down with John and I said, I need to make this affordable for our businesses. So from as little as $199, your families and faces, including 1 photo of either your business or you personally, and 1 of your logo, and a certain amount of words, depending on whether you want a 1/4 page, a 1/3 page, a 1/2 page, a full page. But you can be a 1/4 page for as little as $199. That's pretty cool. We don't get that sort of advertising anywhere else. John said I strong-armed him. I don't care. I work for you. And so just check out our flyer on our website. So from as little as $199, you're going to be in this hard copied collector, limited edition, coffee table, fantastic faces behind our family and faces behind our businesses. So look out for that and get all your details in now. We've got a month to put it together, but please don't be Humboldt County and leave everything to last minute. Fries my brain. I start stressed and then I have to do jaw things. So please don't do that. Secondly, this is pretty major. We know that we're a membership funded organization, and we look at our fundraiser to be a great stimulus to be able to keep people like Sierra on and in a job. So if you want Sierra to remain, I want you to get behind our fundraiser this year. And what we're doing, we're creating a whole new venture. We've got an amazing committee working for Art Biz. Art Biz is going to be 50 of our local prominent artists that we're going to have a 3-month auction. But this is not an auction like we're going to sell the artwork inexpensively. This is going to be respectful to our artists. They're going to put their dollar value on to buy now, and then they're going to put their bottom reserve price. Out of that, we're going to manage the website, we're going to pay the taxes, and we're going to take a very small percentage as a donation from the artist. So instead of the artist donating 100%, we'll be walking out maybe with something like 10 or 15%. So this is super, super exciting. So I want you to watch that space. I'm just going to share with you some of the names that we have on our committee without letting you know some of the artists. But we've got Linda Wise, Rachel Schluter, and Nancy Fleming being our artist committee. We're calling in the big guns. We're calling in the girls. We're getting this done. Go back and have a look at our photo from last Friday. Then our staff of Sierra, Brittany, and Susan, we're going to be running this. Now, the idea behind Art Biz is to be, for every dollar that's spent in our county, it goes threefold. So our artists are really struggling right now. By being a part of Art Biz, uh-oh, here come my dogs. I'm going to just warn you, they're going to go crazy, they're going to bark. But being part of Art Biz is going to introduce, it's something that we've been working on as the chamber, working on as a group. I wanted to bring art and business together. We only have 3 artists as members. They're great artists, but why can't we promote more and help promote our businesses, our art businesses? So we're going to have our artists on our website as members, and we're going to be promoting them. So it's going to bring artists into the business world. So not only is this a small fundraiser, or could be a huge fundraiser for us, it's putting money back into our community, our friends and neighbours, and we're going to grow our business community. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I know Linda's not on the phone tonight. Her husband's not well at the moment, but I know that she would overly share the enthusiasm. Now, third, but no less exciting as the other 2, we have Grow with Google. Everybody that came to our last 2, I know, Jerry, that you're there, and your wife. Sorry, that was an in-joke from before this all opened up to the public. They came, and many of us came to the Google Grow that was in person, where Google flew one of their instructors out. And when we first opened the office, you might remember we didn't have air conditioning. It was a little hot. We have air conditioning now. But even better this time, you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Registration is free. And the name of this, we've got 2 going. Actually, Sierra, you might want to tell us. Look at her. She's so excited. This is her gig. This is her gig.
So I've been working with this Google international speaker and trainer named Carissa St. Laurent, and she is the one that is going to be hosting this. We're doing one which is next Wednesday, and then the other one is going to be at the end of October. Both of them are really relevant to what all is going on right now, and so many people having to maybe take their businesses online or deal with their customers or interact with their customers a different way, or figure out how to get a website, or figure out how to use Google or Facebook or any of those things. So the one next week is going to be connect with customers and manage your business remotely, which is huge. And then the one in October is going to be how to use YouTube to expand and grow your business. So both of those really relevant with the times. You can sign up. The event is on our Facebook page, and it's on our website under events. So you can find it there, and there's a lot more detailed information for you to check out.
Right there. That's how it's done. And thank you, Sierra. I just love our team, and do you ever get sick of me praising you guys? Because I really believe
keep it
our
coming.
Our chamber has the best staff that are so motivated and so driven to work hard for you, and I thank you. And now, hey, Shannon, you ready? Let's do a prize.
Okay, woo! Let's do a prize. So the first thing that we have today is let's see. Let me move up really quick. So it's picnic lunch boxes for 4 by Caseros Catering. We always do this at Premiere every so often, and it's really good. I always look forward to it. Okay, so let's do our first name.
All right, come on.
Yarrow Mitchell.
Oh, Yarrow.
Yay, Yarrow.
Hey, Yarrow. That's
exciting.
Great. After I already know that you already do it. Like, fantastic. We're real happy for you.
There's another one. There's another one later in the evening. Someone else will have a chance.
Now, I want to I want to thank you for being part of our membership, because your membership dues, your fundraisers, your participation, enthusiasm, encouragement allow us to grow. And as a result of that, I was speaking with Cal Chamber this week. They feel that our chamber has grown the most out of all the chambers in California. And guess what? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 this month. And I want to give a shout out to Northern California Safety Consortium, Emergency Bar Therapy, US Vets Deliver. Check these guys out on our Facebook page. Sierra's doing a great job in promoting our new businesses. The Siren Tavern. I posted something today on Humboldt To Go and Humboldt General Store. Check those out. Start using that yourselves. Start sharing your business experience on there. Let's help our businesses grow and get their message out, instead of just seeing my name come up there. Siren Song's got new owners. They've got some outside dining down there. Check that out. Morse Media, they're back. I love it. 6th Street Marketing, they do the marketing for a couple of our businesses. They loved what we're doing. They said, we want to get on board. Manzanilla, a new restaurant in Henderson Center. If you haven't tried them, Philip and I had the paella the other day. Killing it. Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District. They've been gone for a couple of years. They've come back. These are larger organizations that are seeing the value of what we're doing, which is great. And Good Day LLC. So, well, so Sierra, I want you to run the video, if you may.
Okay, here we go. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Donna Wright of Eureka Chamber of Commerce. Humboldt County is a great place to live and work. There's a sense of community that ties us together. We want our businesses and schools open. We can slow the spread of COVID to keep from overwhelming our limited medical facilities. Let's set a good example for tourists and neighbours. Keep a minimum of 6 feet apart. Wash your hands. Please wear a mask. Don't make us ask. Together we can keep Humboldt healthy.
I'll just give you some background. There's a subcommittee that's working on our masking programs. Our businesses reached out to say there was a lot of concern. People are traveling, even local people aren't wearing a mask when they should. I have to share, I would rather be on the right side of wrong than the wrong side of right. And so please wear a mask. Don't make us ask. Keep our businesses opened. I was at the JIC Centre today, the Cirque Centre. I saw a list of businesses that have got little crosses next to them. So these people are going to be warned. You know, you have to, customers are complaining about them. We don't want one of our businesses to close. We don't want our community to get sick. One thing that I learned today, that the numbers may be a little skewed. If you are a person that doesn't live in Humboldt County and you contracted COVID, or you had COVID outside, like you came here and left again, those numbers are going to be listed where you reside. Let that sink in for a little minute. And so just know that we're not as safe as what we might think we are. That was a bit of a reality check for me. So please wear a mask. Please wash your hands. Please be respectful of other people. Let's do the good thing and make sure that people like my husband, me, Susan, those people, Jerry and Jeff, you know, there's a Carol, you know, all those people in high risk areas. There's going to be people out there with immune. Let's just do it for each other, and let's keep our businesses open. We don't want to see restaurants closed and food wasted and jobs lost. So if we have to do this one thing, we all wear underpants. Now we all wear a mask. Let's keep it cool.
One thing. Also, I approved this with Donna about 30 seconds before the meeting started. I do have the wear a mask, keep Humboldt healthy with a transparent background that I put over the photo that we took in the chamber with our mask on, socially distancing. So if you want, for your business, whether it's your staff or yourself, if you want to send me a photo with either some room at the bottom, the middle, or the top, I can lay that graphic over it, and then I can post it on our social media that says so-and-so business, supports wearing a mask. And I think that'd be really cool because, we put it over, over our photo with us wearing a mask in our business. So I thought that would be really cool if other businesses did it and then kind of, showed support with that trend. So my email is sierra@eurekachamber.com. Send me a photo of you and your staff in front of or inside your business with a mask, and I'll put that graphic over it for you and post it.
And we can share that amongst the community as well. So the Redwood Economic Development Commission has created a web page on their a website on their web page. So this is going to be shared community. And if you want to do a PSA, you might hear in coming weeks my voice. People have just stopped me today. Oh, I know your voice. If you want to do your own 30-second or 60-second PSA, just hit me up. You've Donna Wright at eurekachamber.com, and I'll send you the link of where you can do that and what you need to do. You can do your own PSA and be on the news and the radio. So reach out to us. This is really important. Now I'm going to hand over to my friend Angela. Where is she? I want to see her. Most of you know that she is my friend. She's also one of the most powerful and dynamic women that I've had the pleasure of meeting in our community. Her background, if she misses anything out, I've got some and I can embellish. But I'd like Angela just to maybe share a little bit about herself, and I know she's got some photos and video as well. But I'd like to thank you, Angela, for hosting us tonight, for sharing the gift prizes, and for just being your fabulous self.
Well, thank you, Donna. Pleasure. Yeah, happy to be able to have this forum, even though, yes, we'd all like to be out on the front lawn right now, enjoying ourselves. But this is great to have this, at least have this forum, and we're pivoting and we're doing what we can. So yeah, I'm Angela Petrusha, Petrusha Law. I didn't know, Donna, I didn't prepare anything about my background or anything like that. You'd probably have to cut me off, but we are a boutique law firm. So we specialize, we exclusively in estate planning and probates and trust administration. We provide personalized service and peace of mind to our valued clients. And peace of mind is one of the best things about what we do is we really get a benefit ourselves from helping people get to that peace of mind to have their estate planning, all done and all put together. So some highlights, believe it or not, we did have some highlights this year, this crazy year. And so it's our 6th year in business. And this year we were honored to receive the Reader's Choice Award again from the Times Standard for Best Law Firm. So I was pleased and proud of that. And we appreciate the community support. I was looking just today at some numbers and I realized that this year, in the next 1 to 2 months, we will be serving our 1,000th client. And I was kind of blown away by that. And so we have been very busy for this last 5, almost 6 years, helping people. So excited about that. I wanted to share just a couple, I don't have a video, but just a screenshot. So this is our team. Let's see if I can do it. So this is us. It might be kind of small, so I'm going to try to make it, is that bigger? Yeah, maybe. So there we are, a bunch of strong women working together, doing estate planning. So there we have 2 attorneys, 2 paralegals, and 2 legal secretaries on staff. So myself and Kristen Adams, who's standing by me in the picture. Kristen came on board this year. She's a new attorney and also doing estate planning. And then on both of our sides, we have Stephanie Allen and Coralia Vieira, and they are our 2 paralegals, and they're awesome. And then we have on the ends, we have Amy Hagan and Grace Wheaton, and they both do some similar things and then some different things. Like Amy does all of our marketing and social media, that kind of thing. And she's also probably the person you'll speak to when you call our business or come in. She's like our front line, and she's great with people. And also Grace does all of our asset transfer work and that kind of thing. So we have a great team, we have a great time together, and we do have fun together too. We are very busy serving all of those clients, but we do like to do fun stuff. So here we are in one of our team outings. We went to this was before COVID. So we went to the Hatchet House. And so we do something every quarter. We'll get out and just go have fun together. Every quarter we do something. And this was, I think, right before COVID. And we went to the Hatchet House in Arcata, and we threw those things. And it was really surprisingly fun and a good sort of team building experience. So that's us having some fun together. I think I stopped it. Yeah. And so I do want to mention, so a lot of people, I thought of something to do that we can interact today, kind of just a fun little game. I think I'll do that now because I know we're kind of over on time, so I'm going to skip to that. So some of you may have seen on social media, we post things like Fact or Fiction Fridays, where on Fridays we post these little tidbits of information about true or false, about estate planning. And then we also have this series called Estate Planning with the Stars. And we do those, I believe, monthly. We do post those on social media and in other places. And we actually have a book in our office. We have this whole thing. It's in our lobby, and it's called Estate Planning with the Stars, Lessons from the Rich and Famous. And so people are always kind of interested in seeing those stories, reading them. And so what I thought we would do with our time is have a little game, a little trivia. So I just picked, we have lots of stories about estate planning and celebrities. Some of them are just crazy, but I picked about 5. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and give you the facts, give you the details. And then if all of you, it looks like you're all pretty well muted, which is good. So I'm going to give you some information about a celebrity and what happened with their estate. And then I'm going to have, if anybody wants to guess who it is, you can either raise your hand or you can do your little doodad here, your little thumbs up, and I'll call on you to see if you have the answer. Okay, sound good? So the first one is about a very famous person who died in 1976 with an estate worth $2.5 billion and no will, just $2.5 billion, nothing, no will, no trust. And his estate was what we call intestate, meaning his estate was going to be passed, and I see your hand up there, I'll tell the story. His estate was going to be passed according to the state law. And so under the law, his estate was going to go to his 11 cousins, some of whom he didn't even know. So then, of course, lengthy battle ensued, court battles ensued, and there were relatives petitioning coming out of the woodwork. Several people introduced documents purporting to be his will, but that they were found to be not legitimate. And so due to the complex litigation that was all because there was no will, this estate probate lasted for 34 years, and it didn't get settled until 2010 when this person died in 1976. And I saw Becky and Jerry first, so I'm going to have you unmute yourself and tell us who it is.
Is it Howard Hughes?
It is Howard Hughes. I thought that was probably an easy one. So yeah, it was Howard Hughes. And I don't know if you included in about the 2.5 billion or the 1976 date, but yes. So the lesson, and this is kind of out of our book. So the lesson is, we don't have any idea how much longer we're going to be here. So don't procrastinate in preparing a will or a trust. Be sure your wishes are followed, especially if you have a complex estate or a complex family situation. So very good job. I don't have any prizes, but yay, good job, you got it. And then, so here's another one, something different. So this is a person who is an athlete, an Olympic athlete, and she died at a young age, at age 38, unexpectedly, and she did have a will. And unfortunately, she never told anyone where it was. She was married, her husband didn't know where it was, nobody knew where it was. And they looked and looked, and consequently, disputes arose between the husband and her mother, about what was supposed to happen. And so that, again, once again, back in court we go, and it was contested in probate court for 4 years. And you know, who wins on these things are the attorneys, because they're getting all these litigation fees. And it's sad. And so if the will would have been found and she went to the trouble of apparently making one, it would have been resolved quickly. So that is that. And I saw Matthew raise his hand.
If you said female athlete, Olympic, died at 38, Flojo, Lawrence Joyner.
It was Flojo. You are absolutely correct. So so that was her, and she had an epileptic seizure and died suddenly. Anyway, so there's a lesson too, is if you have a will, no one can find it, is like having no will. So be sure your attorney has at least a copy. Be sure your loved ones know where to find it, or at least know who your attorney is if you have an attorney, because that was very unfortunate as well. Okay, here's a different one. You'll probably all know this one too. I picked some easy ones. So this is a person who was very famous as well, but not real popular. Somebody already guessed. I saw a hand go up. And so, you know, many people want to make sure their pet is taken care of at their death. They want to make sure that you know, their pets are like family, right? And we always talk about pets when we do estate plans and do things with that. And one way that some people can ensure their pets are cared for is by creating a pet trust. But if you do that, you want to be sure you don't create a probate nightmare as a result of your terms of your pet trust. So this person was very rich and famous and left a $12 million in a pet trust for her dog, her one Maltese dog, 7 years old, named Trouble. I see people Googling it already, and you guys shouldn't be Googling. Anyway, so $12 million to a pet trust. 2 of her grandchildren were left out completely. So they in turn sued the estate, saying that, alleging that this person was mentally unfit when she made this thing. And they actually did win in a settlement, and they won $6 million. And ultimately, Trouble, the dog, only got a $2 million pet trust. And when that dog died in 2011, the dog's annual living expenses were $190,000 per year on, I don't know what, I've read some of the things, but $190,000 a year for that dog to travel, to have its own bodyguard, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then when the dog died, whatever was left in that pet trust went to a charity, which is nice. Now, does anybody want to guess who that is? I see Kristen Blair.
I don't think I should answer because Google is telling me a name that I don't even know, but I'm going to guess. It says it's Leona Helmsley. Correct?
It is. So you guys you're supposed to all, you know, get off your Google.
Yeah, that's
She's aging herself if she doesn't know that name.
Yeah, Leona Helmsley, Queen of Mean. She was a hotel tycoon, and
These are for the little people.
For the what? Oh, you're muted, Chris. So she did all that, and the lesson here, and one thing is just kind of an interesting story. I just wanted to share it because it's so sort of crazy. But if creating a pet trust, don't make something so excessive that begs for a challenge. You know, pet trusts aren't valid in every state, but in California they are. You can do a pet trust. We're doing one right now. Kristen is my other attorney is working on one right now. But what people do much more commonly is they will give, instead of creating a trust and all of that, they'll give a gift of amount of cash to the person who receives their pets with no strings attached, just as a way of donating toward the future care, you know, and bills related to that pet. And it's just it's a lot less complicated doing it that way.
I'll just say,
famous for the line, taxes are for the little people.
Chris, I'll just let everybody know that if anybody wants to leave me their dog and a stash of cash, I'm open for that.
I like it. I like it. Okay, we have two more. This one might surprise you. I don't know. Okay, so we have this person is a famous, I'll call it a famous publisher. Don't be Googling this though. And he lived kind of a partying lifestyle. But he did have strong feelings about being drug and alcohol free. And when he died, he created a trust for his wife and his children. And the trust included a clause that cuts off the trust payments to any beneficiary if they abuse drugs or alcohol. And the trustee of that trust has had the ability to demand a drug test if they suspect any kind of, you know, drug abuse. And so I think that the person who it is the surprise here. Does anybody know? Anybody have any guesses? Let me see, turn the screen. David has it.
This is a wild guess, and I'm maybe totally wrong, but is it Hunter S. Thompson?
No, it is not Hunter S. Thompson. It is.
That would be really unexpected.
Oh my goodness.
Hugh Hefner.
That is a surprise.
Yeah. So, and, you know, that does come up sometimes in estate planning where there's a known, you know, there's an issue with substances or something to that effect. And the people are saying, you know, I don't want the inheritance going toward that, you know, how do we, you know, and so you can put those kind of clauses in so that it's protected. It's really for their own protection. And so that you're hoping, you know, what you're trying to do, you can't really control from the grave that much, but you can create the incentives for the good behavior in your trust document. All right, so I have one more, and then I think my 15 minutes of fame is probably going to be up. And this is my favorite, has always been my favorite. Okay, so this one is just a special one. So this person who was an entertainer, funny man, was married for 48 years, and his will specified that upon his death, a single red rose would be delivered on a daily basis to his widow for the rest of her life. And she said in an interview that every day, this gives me chills, so every day since he has gone, the florist has delivered one long-stemmed rose to my home, one rose to be delivered every day for the rest of my life. And before she died, she had received over 3,200 roses. Donna's crying. Oh, it's very sweet. Anybody, any guesses? I'm looking, I don't see.
Is it Jerry Lewis?
It's not, good guess though, not Jerry Lewis. Not everybody will, huh?
Joe Namath?
No, this is somebody from a little, you know, kind of from back a ways in time. It was Jack Benny.
Oh my heavens.
Yeah, so he was a radio entertainer and a television funny man, and I think he was married to Sadie Marks, and I think they were a combo. I think that she was in the business as well. But, you know, very sweet one to end on. It's a true story, and it just shows that you can be creative in your bequests. You can create gifts that are meaningful in a special way to your loved ones. And so that's a nice, I thought that would be a nice one too.
Oh man, and love that. Look at me, I'm disheveled now. And Philip wasn't even in the room when he heard that. Like, if something happens to you, honey, you got to send me roses.
Well, thanks for having us. Thanks for letting us host.
Thank you, Angela. You're beloved, not just here, but within our community. And thank you for hosting us. And let's do a prize. Shannon. What have you got?
Okay,
you, Ange.
so this one is
Thank you.
exciting. We are gonna do an estate planning consultation with Petrusha Law, which is a $300 value. The previous prize from Caseros, I want to say, was also donated by Petrusha Law as well. Okay, let's pick a name.
This better be me.
It's Becky Giacomini.
Giacomini.
Giacomini? Is that you?
Me.
Are you here, Becky?
Is she still here? I haven't seen her. She's still here, Becky? Becky?
She was here.
She was. I did see her. She's pulled a dash in, dash out. Okay.
The B at the beginning really had me thinking that it was going to be me.
She is in the room.
She is here. Obviously just gone to the bathroom.
Here.
Yeah, Becky just went to the bathroom.
Okay.
So that's great. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thing that you do and making it fun for us tonight. Now I would like the man of the moment, Dr. Chris Hartley. Before I introduce you, I would just like to do a shout out to Dr. Tom from HSU. I saw you on here. Are you still here, Dr. Tom? Well, he's probably muted or he's gone to the bathroom too. But Chris, would you like me to do an introduction here? I've got a fabulous one.
Yeah, I was here. Sorry, I was muted. I couldn't. Good to see you.
Tom.
Yeah, this is Tom. Yeah, good to see you. So,
Tom, thank you so much for your leadership through hard times. And I don't want to take away from Chris right now, but thank you for your leadership there at HSU. And thank you for including us all and into the community and embracing the business community as part of HSU.
honestly, I'm just trying to stay out of the way. We have so many good people at Humboldt and so many good people in the community. We're all trying to do the best we can, and we'll get there. We'll get through this. I know we will.
Absolutely. You're looking good. You've embraced Humboldt, Dr. Tom. You're out in the backyard. What's going on?
No, I thought this was a mixer, so I'm actually at a winery. Seriously, I'm at a winery. I thought it was a mixer, so I'm sitting here at a winery drinking water. So, my glass of water. No, yeah. Yep.
So, Chris, can I just give an introduction to you, or do you want to just take?
Please keep it simple, for crying out loud. Absolutely, let's get the show on the road.
Chris says, Chris, nothing with me simple. You know that. You're on my board. I mean, he's holding the reins with me right now, and it's not looking good for him. All right, take it away, Chris.
Thank you so much. It's great to see Tom and everybody. A lot of familiar faces, and actually for me, what's cool is a lot of folks that I haven't met before. So it's a real pleasure to be here and kind of have this networking opportunity with you all. And I agree with Tom. You know, our communities, my gosh, we are a tough group up here in Humboldt County. You know, the word resilient gets tossed around a lot, but there really is no better word to describe the tenacity we have up here and how we thrive in difficult times. And so I'm real pleased to announce to you and kind of introduce you all to Colby Smart. If you don't know Dr. Smart there, he's the assistant superintendent for the county office. And I told him about this opportunity, and I said, you got to join me, because we have been linked up on this. And as you all know, when you're working hard and you're up against a lot of very difficult decisions and processes, you got to have a good team. And Colby is my right-hand guy, and we have a fabulous group that supports us. And you know, he's got to be with me to share in these moments, because the one thing we know is what we're doing is historic. This is difficult work, but we're making history. You know, and I see Christine right there from Casaros. I haven't seen you forever. We cater so much with you, and I miss you dearly. How many events would we be having in the spring that we didn't get to connect with? You know, Humboldt County Office of Ed doesn't have a sports team, but we have what I call award season. We give out a lot of awards, and Christine and her team is always there to serve us. And so we're here as a group, right? You know, through thick or thin and whatever the situation is. And so what Colby and I are going to do is kind of take you through, Colby, if you can go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint, we're going to take you through kind of some processes that we've been using to help and to serve K-12 education during this time. And as you all know, this stuff changes like hourly, right? And so it's super fluid. And I'm going to try to avoid a few words. One of them is fluid. I just use it. Drives me crazy. It's like become our word. The other one is pivot. I'm going to try to stop using pivot. That's been a word. I love it, but it's a basketball term for me. But we really have thought about what is the road ahead? You know, how are we planning for the future and where are we going? And the county office's role, when we take a look at the number of school districts in Humboldt County. So it's real kind of important for you all to get a sense of the number of districts that we have. And so there's a map of Humboldt County. The long and short of it is, folks, there's 32 school districts. One of those is the County Office of Education, so 31 districts besides us. Every district in the Humboldt County has its own board of trustees, its own operations and governance team for making decisions for that district. So a lot of the times people tell me, well, what are you deciding to do for Eureka, or what are you deciding to do for Rio Dell or whatever? And I always have to remind them, those districts make these decisions on their own. The county office is here to serve. We are a convener of people. My biggest challenge is, and mandate from the state is to provide fiscal oversight and fiscal support. That's obviously been very important during this time, but I wanted to share with you how many districts we have. And I loved the Angela's trivia there earlier. So who can think of the smallest district in Humboldt County? What's the name of the smallest school district in Humboldt County?
I know.
Davin, what do you got?
Is it the Cut and Ridgewood?
Nope, it is not. Angela, I saw your hand next.
Is it Freshwater?
Oh, no, Becky, it's not Freshwater. Angela, do you have a guess?
I guess Hydesville.
Nope, it's not Hydesville. You guys, I'm telling you, this is great. Yes, Carol.
Garfield?
Nope, not Garfield. Getting closer. All right, so it takes an hour to get there, about 45 minutes to get there from Blue Lake.
Maple Creek.
Yes, Maple Creek. I think Maple Creek right now has 7 students. Greenpoint's is close behind with 9, and Greenpoint's at the very end of Redwood Valley. And then Oric is going to probably come in third with around 15 or so, something like that. So we have those districts, right? And then you have like our largest district is right here in Eureka City Schools, and everything in between. So you get the sense of the diversity of what we're working with. And education in Maple Creek, folks, is very different than education here in Eureka. So I wanted to share the context of who we are serving during this time. When COVID first hit, boy, I tell you, that was around, Colby and I were reminiscing about this. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but March 15th, the days of like March 13th through the 15th and through the 17th were a wild time. But before I go to that though, I want to tell you about another option that we have, the districts have. Sorry, I missed that slide, is that we have the watch lists. So you're familiar with, the governor has put counties on the watch list. Of course, you're all aware of that. What that means for our 31 districts in Humboldt County is that they actually have a choice. Because we're not on the watch list, our school districts have the option of offering on-site instruction, distance learning, or a combination of both of those things, right? Our county, with the other counties that are not on the watch list, only represent about 10%, 7 to 10% of the student population in the state. 90% of the students in the state of California have no options. They are taking distance learning as mandated by the governor of California. So it's interesting when you look at the blue counties, we only represent a small percentage of the actual student population. So there's the other factor I want to let you have. So back to March 17th. Sorry, Donna, you got to keep me on track, girl. Back to March 17th. So this was all going down. We were huddling up. We were meeting with our superintendents. Very stressful time. And the governor stepped in and said, you know what, we're gonna pull the trigger. We're gonna call, it was the legislation, SB 117 he enacted. And basically that had allowed schools to shut down their on-site educational practices. So at that point, Humboldt County schools stopped doing on-site education. And now they entered into a phase of what a lot of people have called a lot of different things, but crisis learning has become the term to use. That we went into a crisis learning situation. And there were 3 things that we were mandated to do to follow the governor's order, right? We had to provide a continuity of learning, and that meant doing some sort of distance learning. A lot of our smalls folks out there, that meant good old paper and pencil, packets, parents coming by, picking up homework at the school, or heck, schools are driving homework out. I was talking to the superintendent from Scotia the other day. She's still going out to kids' homes physically. She's driving to the family saying, hey, we have not heard from you. What the heck is going on? We need to connect you. School's going to start soon. Our districts are amazing. They kept that continuity of learning going during a crisis time period. Schools were also supposed to provide some form of childcare. Now, let me tell you, this was impossible. So you're shutting your on-site instruction down. How are you going to provide childcare during a pandemic and keep those folks safe, right? So that one never really hit the target. The governor wanted us to try to do that. Honestly, that was a task that really no schools in the state of California really were able to do that because we had this pandemic. So right away, immediately, we're coming up at odds with some very difficult tasks. The other one was food security. And folks, let me tell you, your Humboldt County districts knocked this one out of the park. Our cafeteria workers joined up with our transportation department, joined up with the superintendents and the principals and the teachers and whoever, and we hit the streets. We delivered thousands and thousands of lunches and breakfasts to students clear across the county. The food program never quit. And I am so grateful to this community because it took a lot of folks to make that happen. Food deliveries, right? Cafeteria preparation, just all that planning ahead was really an important thing. So the lessons that we learned right out of the gate that are now 5 months in the past is how strong we are when we work together. And so when we put together this roadmap to recovery, hey, Colby, that was some really good timing there. It's almost like we've done this before. This is our first run through, so you guys are the guinea pigs. So thank you, because we would love to be able to share this information throughout the communities. So we put together an advisory committee, and you don't need to see all the names, but the point is it involved a lot of people. Our advisory committee was critical that we had diverse groups of folks, and that we had people from education, from other public agencies, from business, and we had nursing and health folks and transportation experts. And so we came together to start to put together some plans for how schools could open. Key parts about this plan: 3 major factors: teaching and learning, health and safety, and resources and finance. When we sat here, Colby and I were kicking this around, and we're like, if we do any planning, and schools and communities are going to plan how to come back, what's our road to recovery, these 3 things have to be thought of at the same time. There is no way we could redesign teaching and learning without thinking about resources and finance. And of course, what's driving the ship? Health and safety, top priority at all times. And you can't think about health and safety unless you're thinking about resources. Take, for instance, transportation. If you're going to do 6 feet of social distancing on a school bus that holds 72 kids, you're going to transport about 13 kiddos. Fortuna School District transports over 400 students a day when they're in normal operations. So think about that. Those buses would be running multiple routes. The kids might be at school for only a couple hours because they got to ship them back home again just to keep up with the route. So we started to identify all of these potential areas that we had to solve. And again, we had to use our collaborative groups. I want to mention real quick some of the people we've partnered with. Public health, critical partner, obviously. They're influencing us, they're guiding us, they're giving us advice as to all the health conditions that we have to follow. First 5 are young ones: DHHS, CWS, Food for People, Humboldt Area Foundation, Dr. Jackson, Humboldt State at CR, Dr. Flamer at CR and Humboldt State, service clubs, all of the Rotaries, 3 Rotaries in Eureka, Fortuna, McKinleyville, Arcata, all of them. And folks, we've really worked closely with our labor groups. As you can understand, we've got employees that are part of classified unions and certificated unions, and we've had to maintain open communication with all of them through this whole process. So you kind of get a sense of the dynamics here and how critical it was that we all work together. So Colby's going to talk about our guiding goals that we had to put in place as we moved forward, and that continue to guide us.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. So when we convened the advisory group and we started working on this framework, we really had to identify some guiding goals. And chief among them was to really consider the fact that we have so many school districts and they're so unique, so many different factors that go into running a small school and a large school. So we wanted to build upon common practice. We wanted to save people as much time as possible by creating a framework that also had a lot of templates. Chris mentioned transportation. We wanted to develop a framework that gave best practices, suggestions on what school districts could do. We also wanted to identify those evidence-based best practices in those three core domains. Finally, we as a county office, we wanted to represent and advocate for the needs of Humboldt County. All of these changes happened so quickly. The spring of 2020 is going to be one for the record books, that's for sure. And so as schools started transitioning to distance learning, all these different factors started popping up. Things like, access to technology issues, which we'll talk about in a second. Okay, Chris, there you go.
Yeah, thank you, Colby. So once again, these three areas, I want to just give you another visual. They're important, but I think we're missing one. And I'm going to kind of just put that out to you all to kind of ruminate on. And when you think of what you think, what the other domain might be, go ahead and try to share it. I'll come back to it at the end. But when we first got together, these were the ones that we were like focused on, but there's something else that influences all of that. And it's a wild ride with the other domain that we are now highly invested in and considering pretty much when we make all of our decisions, and it influences our perspectives as a community. So think about what else should be there. Parents is a good guess. Parents certainly are a part of this domain. Remember, big picture word, one word describes a lot of the stuff that's going on, decisions that are made that influence all of us. And it includes things like, oh my gosh, media, the government. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so Colby, go ahead and hit us up on teaching and learning.
Sure. So the first domain that we dove into in our working groups, we wanted to consider all the factors that go into teaching and learning, what happens in a classroom environment, and what we're going to need to take into account in a distance environment. And the first thing that we focused on was instructional models. Now, many of you, I'm sure, have either you have children in the school systems or you live next to a school. You've heard about what schools or how schools are deciding to open up this year. One of the things we recognized early on is we didn't want to refer to schools being closed, because schools aren't closed. They just are operating differently. So the three primary instructional models are full classroom based. As Chris mentioned, Humboldt County technically has the ability to open up as long as it's safe. Hybrid, which is a mix between distance learning and in class, and then also full distance learning. And I'm going to show you something, this little graphic right here, that kind of tells a really interesting story. So we started tracking what schools were thinking about as far as that instructional model all the way back in June. And the blue line is distance learning. And back in June, there were no schools or school districts that said, yeah, we're going to start out with distance learning. There was still a lot of, I think, hope that this was going to peter out in the summer. And as you can see, the yellow line in June are those school districts that were undecided. And then the middle is hybrid or in person. And if you follow that line from June all the way to August, look at that blue line. Right around July 23rd, there was a spike and then a dip. And then all of a sudden around July, it shot straight up. And about 70% of our schools are going to be starting the school year distance learning. And let's see, and there's still a small number of districts that are undecided. About 10% are going to be opening up in a hybrid, or excuse me, 10% face-to-face. And then also the other 20% are going to be doing hybrid. Now those districts that are going to be opening up face-to-face are typically really small, tiny rural schools, but there's a couple bigger school districts that are doing it as well. So other things that we had to think about with teaching and learning is professional development for teachers. This was a brand new thing for teachers, and it came as to a shock for teachers, for students, and also for parents. This was the fact that kids were learning from home and will be learning from home, there was lots of major adjustments that families had to make. So as a county office, we are involved in supporting schools developing teachers' ability to teach at a distance. For example, we're doing a distance learning institute we started 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be running it all the way through the fall. And we've already trained almost a quarter of the teachers in Humboldt County. So other things that are, are really important to think about in this environment is like, well, how do you take attendance, right? Excuse me. How do you take attendance? What about grading? All those sorts of things that are really important to helping students. But the biggest thing is access to technology, which I'll talk about in a little bit once we get to the finances and resource. But Humboldt County, we've got some real challenges when it comes to technology.
Okay. Hey, Colby, I think Jim Ritter's here. Jim, are you around?
Yes, sir.
Jim, this is
doing a great job.
This is your moment to shine. Teaching and learning. Let me tell you what, if you want to see one of the best advocates in Humboldt County for teaching and learning and building bridges around career technical education, giving our students the options outside of just, hey, I'm going to go to college, I'm not sure what I'm going to major in, guy that connects you to internships and makes those real relevant opportunities for kids. That's this guy right here. And he's got a quick announcement, a shameless plug for a program that we're working on right now to try to help bring some super relevancy to this complicated situation for our students. So Jim, sorry to call you out on the spot, but I know you're prepared.
Something like that. Donna and everybody else, and Angela, thanks for having us this evening. I wanted to say, of course, that we really appreciate Chris and Colby on their leadership. One thing about distance learning is, of course, it's challenging for teachers, but bringing community guests into the classroom works great. So we have a program in partnership with the Eureka Chamber and other chambers and Rotary clubs that invites all of you to be guests in distance learning classes. And I think Eureka Chamber is pushing that out in terms of the website. Chris may share that here a little bit later. But if you'd like to just share career expertise or consider teaching a lesson or just share information about a hobby or some other thing that you've learned in your career, please join us in that effort. You can sign up through that website and our classroom teachers will get back to you and invite you into their virtual and distance learning classes as we go forward into the fall semester. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, thank you, Jim. And folks, really, it's so rewarding when you connect with our students. I hear from business folks all the time and community members, when they work with our kids, they're just like, that was outstanding. Just really appreciated getting to know that child or that young adult. And, the kids, let me tell you, this chamber's put together that youth ambassador program. When I first was part of that, I was blown away. You guys have donated your most precious resource, and that's your time. But you do get a lot back out of it just with, just getting an opportunity to work with these young adults. And that's what this is all about. So thanks for that. And the next area, health and safety, it goes without saying how important this is. This is a pandemic, right? A global pandemic. We're trying to figure out how do we deliver instruction in a safe manner for the students, of course, for the staff, for everybody that's involved in it. And we're all learning on the go. There's no playbook for this, right? There's no resource that you go to that tells you, hey, take this step and that. So we've had to do it together, and we continue to learn. And it's influenced boards across the county. So those 31 districts, the school boards are looking at this heavily, and they're making decisions that they feel comfortable with. And they can make those decisions because we have those options in Humboldt County, and that's what's really important. I've been proud of our partnerships here with our other public agencies for looking at not only the physical side of being healthy, but the mental side of being healthy. What are we missing when we're, like Donna said, she just loves this because she gets to see everybody, and we're missing that personal connection, right? So it's not just physical health. We got to think of the whole student here. And when we're partnering with DHHS and Child Welfare Services, man, I'm really, you know, my heart goes out to these families and kids who don't have a lot of resources, and school was their daily thing that they look forward to. And I just applaud the districts for doing their best to serve the students in whatever capacity they feel that they can do the best job while maintaining health and safety standards. And our districts are doing that. And you've got to give them some grace, you know, and that's the one thing I've learned through this process too. We can be pretty darn hard on each other. And so I'm going to reveal that fourth domain. You guys' guesses were really good, but for me, it comes down to politics. Politics has been another big part of this as we've been working through it. And it's influenced by so many things. And I get letters. I got 2 letters today from parents, and I really appreciate when people communicate with me. One letter was on the extreme of, hey, this business of me being a parent and having to teach my kids at home, this is not okay. I want to get paid at a teacher's salary because I'm teaching my kids. That was the nemesis. Okay, I get it. Sure, you're doing all that work. And then we'll get the other side of the spectrum. There's no way, you know, there is no way that, you know, my students shouldn't be going to school. And it's interesting, right? It's political. We have decisions that are being made at the government, the governor's level, and the federal level, and they impact us all. But I guess my point is we have to be patient with each other. We have to continue to collaborate and communicate and learn as we go through it. And that takes us to that third domain of finance and resources, that if we're not thinking carefully about our finances and our resources, you know, we're going to be left, and our kids aren't going to get the best. And the main point I want to leave you with is this, is that we understand the equity issues of Humboldt County. The equity issues of Humboldt County are deep for our students. They always have been. They're deep for you as business owners and business as leaders. Access to technology right now is like access to water. And we have students that are sitting next to a river of information and they can't take a drink. And it absolutely frustrates us. And we're working super hard to bridge that gap. It would be like if you're just dying of thirst and a river's flowing by, but you can't get to it. It's the same thing. All of our materials, our curriculums delivered, you know, on the internet with distance learning, and we've got opportunities for students to access the services, but they can't get to it because maybe they don't have the ability to afford internet in their home, right? Or they don't have a device. And so we're working super hard on those things. And I know Colby's going to add a little bit more value to that because this is his area of expertise.
Yeah, sure. Just to give you an example of what Chris is talking about, it's oftentimes in our county, there's socioeconomic considerations, but there's also geographic isolation considerations. In Southern Humboldt District, upwards of almost 2/3 of students don't have access to the internet at home, not because they don't necessarily have a device, it's because there's no internet infrastructure to provide that. And so we're looking at, you know, all sorts of creative ways, first of all, to acquire devices, and we have been successful in several different areas, but also starting to think in the big picture. How can we transform some of these rural areas without, you know, sacrificing? There's a reason why people live there. But so we're really trying to be as mindful as possible of the long-term solutions, because, you know, if this has taught us anything, that these kinds of disruptions will lead to a lot of innovation. Jim's example of what he shared is really an innovative program that came out of this. A lot of our schools are now much more comfortable with digital processes. There's a lot less paper, obviously, going around. Our teachers are learning how to teach in new, innovative ways, and our students are learning that, you know, learning doesn't necessarily have to happen in a desk, right? And so a lot of teachers are exploring really innovative ways to deliver instruction and work on project-based learning and those sorts of things. But the technology infrastructure is a big one. This is a long-term opportunity for us as a county to really address. So.
Thanks, Colby. So I think this will be an area that we can come together around as a community too, to improve the infrastructure for all of us in Humboldt County around the technology access piece. I do think that there'll be some work that comes from this in that direction. I'm excited to kind of let a little bit of the cat out of the bag. We've been working with the state and Superintendent Thurman, and I think we might be in for a decent amount of funding coming from PG&E that targeted just for Humboldt County. We're thinking $250,000 to $500,000. So we haven't solidified that yet, but we're working hard on it. And so just to let you know, we're looking at avenues outside of more taxes to the taxpayer, right? We're looking to philanthropists. We're looking to high-level business folks that have this as part of their mission. You know, Bill Gates has given billions of dollars to education. We're looking at foundations. We're looking at all levels of revenue streams. And so as you come, maybe you'll have an idea that could support us, but we can't always just go screaming to the state of California for more money, right? We got to look outside of the box and be super creative. And we're doing that here in Humboldt County. So last couple things, because we could talk, you can tell this is a very thick topic. So half of our struggle is like, gosh, what do we even talk about? There's so much. I'm just going to kind of take you to where we're currently at, okay? So fast forward to here we are. So here we are today. Out of the 31 districts, we have around 8 or so whose boards have decided to have on-site instruction. So we have students coming to those schools. Some of them are on a daily basis. Some of them are a couple days a week. It's a blend. We have some schools, about 3 or 4, that are doing kind of a hybrid model, a little bit of both of those. And then we have the rest of the schools, around 20 or so, that are right now doing distance learning for a period of time, and they'll be reassessing as the conditions change. So right now we've been tracking that. If you ever have an interest in what's happening in Humboldt County schools, please visit our website. It's loaded with tremendous COVID-19 information for parents, for community members, and it has a list of what all the districts are doing, what's their current status, and we're updating it constantly. And again, these are decisions that school boards are working super hard. They're working really hard to make the best choice for their community. And we have to keep that in mind here. I talked to my partners down in Sacramento or big urban areas. They don't understand. I'm like, look, if you're in Maple Creek, that school is the hub of Maple Creek. That's where the volunteer firefighters meet. That's where they have the potlucks. That's where they go to the dances back in before social distancing. Everything happens at the school. Oric, the same way. I can remember when I was principal at McKinneyville High School, I would go to Oric and we would have a town barbecue in the spring to celebrate the 8th graders that were graduating, and they were coming to my school at McKinneyville High, and I wanted to meet the community, and we would hold a barbecue. Every single person, I swear to you, would come to that event from Oric. It was a blast. And so we have a lot of rich culture in our county. We celebrate that by making the decisions that we feel are best for our kids. So once again, Donna, thank you for the opportunity. There were a couple of questions that were brought up at the beginning, and I don't know that I covered them. So I'll go ahead and show you the value of having partnerships. So I texted the 2 people that would know the answers to these questions earlier. One is Dr. Fred Van Fleck, Superintendent for Eureka City. I said, hey, I'm in a chamber thing, and they're asking, what are you doing for facilities? And he says, okay. And it's kind of what I would have thought, but they're working on things like plexiglass barriers. So same thing here at Humboldt County Office of Ed and probably your businesses, right? Plexiglass barriers for our support staff. And the other thing that we're all working hard on is HEPA filters. How do we provide and how do we build up our infrastructure around filtering our air? I call them air scrubbers or filters. And the HEPA filter is the best model. In fact, we have one that we've been playing around with here at the County Office of Education to see how well it works. But those are the 2 things that Eureka City is working hard right now in facilities. And I think that's pretty consistent for a lot of us. The other one was, I believe the question was something along the lines of if a student in a cohort became ill or was tested positive for COVID, what happens to that group? So I texted Dr. Frankovich, and she got back to me, and she said, well, it kind of depends. But in most cases, if an individual in that cohort was tested positive for COVID, yes, that cohort would go into quarantine, and they would monitor their status, if not test them. And then the other piece to that that's real important for people like me that are managing over 350 employees is then what is the next step for public health as far as contact tracing? So here's an example. So like in our office, my office right here that I'm sitting in, we write down every single person that comes through our doors every day. So there's an ongoing list. If somebody popped in, I write their name down just to show, hey, Jim stopped by. We saw Jim Ritter today. He came by. He came in at this time. Done. And we've had a couple instances where we've had employees that weren't feeling great. They got tested. They were negative, but because we had good record keeping, we were able to go back on our own as an employer and say to folks, look, this is what's going down. We can't share any much information with you other than somebody that you were around is getting tested right now, and more information to follow. We have got to deal with the fears of this head on. We got to communicate with tons of transparency and doggone it, be as prepared as we can be.
Go Jack.
We have time for 30-second announcements. We are now at 7 o'clock. Donna, Susan.
You know, there was so much great information tonight. I would love to still hear from people because there's some really good stuff to share. You know, we're information overload because everything's happening on a minute-by-minute basis. So I want to hear our businesses. If anybody wants to stay on, please, let's hear.
Fantastic. Becky and Jerry, are you still here? All right, you're up.
Okay, I'll time, but I'll also go first. Okay, as you know, this year, excuse my language, sucked for travel. You know, we're not going anywhere. We're all stuck at home. However, the travel providers are desperate to get people traveling again, and they are offering really, really, really good deals for next year. So if you're thinking about traveling, now is the time to book. They are really very flexible with how late you can cancel. Deposits for most of them are refundable, and always make sure you get a refundable. So, you know, if you want to go away next year, because people, once this is passed, people are going to want to travel. Things going to book up quickly. Book now, put your deposits down, give you something to look forward to.
Tobin, you're up.
Hi, I wanted to introduce myself. I've been a chamber member for under 48 hours. So my name is Tobin Tolis. I am a founder of 6th Street Marketing. I'm a full digital marketing suite. So you're more my people than all the other people that are out there. Moved up here from the Bay Area about 3 years ago. My wife's best friend lives up here. My wife's best friend is involved heavily in the contact tracing for Eureka Sheriff's Department, and her husband is a captain of Arcata Fire. So we've been involved in the community for a long time. And I had a digital marketing company that I founded in the Bay Area. And once Humboldt sunk its absolute beautiful paws into me, I decided to concentrate all my efforts here on my terms and my platform. So I sold my part of the company off to my partner and started fresh on March 1st, right before the world fell apart. But it's been wonderful. Things have been great, and I'm very excited to be a part of such a great group of people. So that's all I have. I can't wait to meet you all in person at some point.
Tobin, I'm glad I gave you a good wrap leading in. I didn't realize you were on, but welcome. We love you. Just reach out. We've got a great community here. You've joined a great chamber. Check out the other ones. Whatever you need, reach out to us.
Thank you so much.
Carol with Benbow, you're up.
We're open. We'd love to have you come down. I was just down there last Thursday. It's absolutely gorgeous. The swimming pool is open. You actually book a time to go into the pool, so there's limited numbers of the people in the pool at each time, which is actually fantastic. But we'd love to have you come down. We're serving only on the plaza, on the terrace right now for dinner for hotel guests. But we do have live music to offer Tuesday through Friday. So come on down to Benbow and just kind of get away.
Woo, yay.
Kristen and Jesse with McKinleyville Chamber.
Hello, thank you for having us. I just wanted to let everyone know that we are planning our mega mixer for August virtually next week. So it's a different platform than Zoom. It's called Remo, where basically you can go on and move about tables virtually to kind of mingle like a regular mixer would be. So we have a lot of folks, McKinleyville Chamber members, who already have virtual tables there, and we're looking forward to have everybody join us and check it out. So we hope to see you there.
This is what I love about my partners at other chambers. I just learned something new. So Jesse and I are going to connect tomorrow for sure.
Brittany.
I'll just real quickly say something on behalf of Real Property Management Humboldt. So do you want $100? If you do, then refer a new client to Real Property Management Humboldt, and not only will you get $100, but they will get a $100 sign-up bonus as a show of our appreciation for not only getting voted as the best property manager for the time standard, but also just extended our best.rpm101.com appreciation bonus for getting nominated as best property manager for North Coast Journal. So $200 total bonus, to 100 to you and 100 to whoever you refer. Thank you.
Colby, smart. Oh, you don't want to say anything. You're just applauding.
Commenting, that's a really neat deal, $100. So I'm gonna start scanning. So.
Your side business.
Exactly. Love it.
Anyone else have anything they want to share? Chris.
You know, Christine does. Christine Casaro Wright does. She wants to tell us about her business. Unmute yourself, Christine. Unmute yourself, Christine.
Okay, here we go. So where are we right now? Through all these transitions and months that have passed, we're still operating. We never really shut down, although everything came off the calendar. We did sign up for our reopening plan, so we're operating real discretionary. And so if you need like boxed meals and things like that, you can certainly call up and see what we've got going on for that week. And then we've also shifted a little bit and creating our salad dressing line. We're launching with our first one, green onion vinaigrette, something we wanted to do for a really long time. And so there's been quite a few silver linings through all of this time for us. So we're just, that's where we are, I guess.
Chris Nelson, you're up.
If I may, let me just do a really quick shout out. It's so good to see so many of you, because so many of you have been our customers over the years. And so big, huge thank you to all of you, but also Angela for consistently hiring us, Petrusha Law for the mixers and other events that we see you at, and also securing gift certificates for the Chamber's raffle today. They hired us to provide that. So thank you to them.
Welcome.
And thank you to the Chamber, who's working so hard to, on behalf of all of us. I'm just in complete awe of everything that you all are doing. So thank you.
I'm looking at our girls here tearing up. Look at you, Susan. Keep it together. So if there's nothing else, Carol Crossley, I want you to give a little bit of shout out, because I don't think you promote well enough your gift baskets. Could you give a bit of a shout out?
Yeah, you're not busy enough right now, Carol.
Yeah. We typically have a very quiet summertime with gift baskets because we're busy with all of our event planning. But because of shelter in place, we are actually up 400%. We have companies who are gifting all of their employees because they can't have their company picnic. We've got some who can't do their investor meetings in person, so we're sending gift boxes of Humboldt made products out to all of their investors, and while they're on Zoom, they eat the goodies. So I'm busier than even if we were still doing weddings. Very exciting. Thanks, Donna.
That is a great good news story. I had no idea. Yeah. So maybe you might be able to send an article for our newsletter, and I'm going to sign off on this. It just came to me today that still people don't realize that if you tag us into your social media posts, if you send us an email, a text, phone us, we're going to reach out and promote you. If you send an article, we're going to put you in the newsletter. We're here for you, our members. So please do that. And we don't have the resources, unfortunately, as a Fortune 500 would have, to be able to have the staff to reach out to you. We give the resources. We ask you to reach out to us. So please do that. So we went way over tonight. I was really surprised at really how many in the end were still here. Again, I'd like to give a thank you to our host tonight, Angela Petrusha. Not only are you my friend, you're a dynamic woman in business in our community. You're a dynamic business in our community. I'd like to reach out to all the doctors. I know Dr. Tomzos, but Dr. Chris, Dr. Colby, I love that this wasn't controversial. This was information. I thank you all for that. I thank you to our ambassadors that are the backbone of our business alongside of our staff and board. So with that, I bid you adieu. Enjoy a good night. Go out, support local, shop local, keep our taxes and our dollars, which spend 3 times over in our community. Be safe. Call me, Facebook message me.